7/21/2024. We're in Taigong's 6 Secret Teachings, the last chapter, Chapter 6, Dog Secret Teaching. Selecting Soldiers. King Wu asked Taigong, "How should I select soldiers?" Taigong said, "Assemble those with exceptional courage and who do not fear death or injury into a unit called Blade Warriors. Assemble the sharp, young, strong, brave, and aggressive into a unit called Penetrating Formation Warriors. Assemble those with unique physiques, steady steps, and coordinated movements, and who are skilled in swordsmanship into a unit called Brave and Sharp Warriors. Assemble those who have extremely strong arms and can destroy the enemy's gongs, drums, and flags into a unit called Courageous and Strong Warriors. Assemble those who can climb over high mountains, walk long distances, and run fast into a unit called Invading Army Warriors. Assemble those who used to be royalty and ministers and aspire to regain their reputation into a unit called Death Fight Warriors. Assemble those who are the sons of brothers or dead soldiers and keen to exact revenge into a unit called Dare Death Warriors. Assemble those who live in their in-laws' family and used to be captives of the enemy and want to bury their shame into a unit called Inspirational Warriors. Assemble those who are dissatisfied with poverty and want to be rich and successful into a unit called Death-Committed Warriors. Assemble those criminals who are spared and want to hide their humiliation into a unit called Grateful to be Used Warriors. Wow. Assemble those with exceptional skills and responsibility to a unit called Awaiting Orders Warriors. These are the way of selecting soldiers. Close examination should never be neglected. So, I like this because close examination should never be neglected. Everyone has strengths and weaknesses. That's why I think like Tom Rath and Strengths Finder and strengths-based leadership and any kind of insightful thing, right? We're like I'm an ENTJ. If you're like an INFP or all of these personality quizzes and traits, right? You have to know what kind of warrior you are, and you have to know where you're coming from, and you have to know your place in the fight of business and of life and of your personal achievement and what you define as your own success, right? Okay, so looking at all of this, where would you place yourself? And knowing where you would place yourself on the battlefield is not only going to give you that leadership capability, delegation abilities, and things like that, it's also going to give you the insight into others because you're confident in knowing yourself. And once you know yourself, then you can see others and you can accept and love them for their strengths and understand their weaknesses and bring together a team of people who complement each other in that sort of way. So building an army, a business, an empire of any sorts is all about utilizing strengths and personalities and getting to know your troops. Teaching combat. King Wu asked Taigong, "When we assemble our army, how can we train them to be skillful in combat?" Taigong said, "When leading the 3 armies, use gongs and drums to synchronize their movements. The generals should teach the details of drill and train them to use weapons and familiarize them with military maneuvers according to the changes of flag signals. When training the army, instruct 1 man, then extend into practice to 10 men. When studying military tactics, instruct 10 men to start with, then extend the practice to 100, to 1,000, 10,000, and finally the entire army. The powerful army will be indestructible in the world," King Wu said. Brilliant. So this is teaching combat. Whether this is teaching sales, teaching a trade, teaching anything, the more you scale it, when you get to 10,000, the more experience you have to have. But you can't even get to 100 unless you do it 1 to 1 first. Then you do it 1 to 3. Then you do it 1 to 9. Then you do it 1 to many. Then you do it 1 to 10, 1 to whatever number, then 20, then 25, then 100, and then 1,000. But you multiply it tenfold. You don't just stop with 3 or 9. It depends on how much you want to scale it, what pattern you want to follow, what cycle you want to place yourself into. And so knowing that is, again, knowing your terrain and which path to take in order to move forward and be victorious.